Hello, Madix. Now, today we're going to dive into anatomy and physiology. This is just one of the common units which is tackled. Actually, is covered with almost all the medical or health science students. Now, for you to be a medic, to be in any cadre which handles the human life, you have to at least have a bit of knowledge on anatomy and physiology. Now, today we're going to check on the anatomy and physiology, and we will be keeping the progress with various topics which are actually comprising the anatomy and physiology. Now, when to anatomy and physiology, by the way, there is no branch of science that it's as close to home as the science of our own bodies. So we are grateful for the dependability of our hearts. We are awed by the capabilities of muscles and joints displayed by the Olympics athletes when you see them in the field. And we ponder with the philosopher the ancient mystery of mind and emotion, okay? So we want to know how our body works. And when it malfunctions, we want to know what is happening and what we can do about it. So even the most ancient writings of civilization, including books, documents, or medical documents that attest to the humanity's timeless drive to know itself. Now you are embarking on the same subject, okay? You are embarking on a subject that is as old as civilization itself. So as a medic, you need to know this, and yet one that grows by thousands of scientific publications every week. So this is what you're going to handle, and just introduction to human structure and function, the biology of the human body. It is primarily to give you a foundation for advanced study in healthcare if you want to, exercising, physiology, or practicing, okay, pathology, other discipline which actually also in comprises the anatomy. So the other fields related to health and fitness, which are also supposed to be under, okay, they are associates, and they also include to have you with some knowledge of anatomy and physiology. So beyond that purpose, they also provide you with a deeply satisfying sense of self-understanding. So you get to know yourself, and even if you are supposed to be going to medical checkup, you really know the relativity, and even if you are to attend any consultation, you will be able now to understand the perception of the doctor and to internalize the knowledge firmly and deeply. So that is that. So human body is highly complex. A knowledge of it will require us to actually you need to comprehend a great deal of detail, okay? So their details will be more manageable if now we relate them to a few broad or unifying concepts. We can even connect them to some of your normal words in language that you can understand, like your own mother tongue. So the aim of this anatomy and physiology is to introduce many concept, and by the rest of the entire thing, you're just supposed to be like you develop some good knowledge on anatomy and physiology. Talk about the thought process that led to the knowledge of all this one supposed to. So let's go to definition. What is anatomy? Anatomy is the study of structure, just like that. And physiology is the study of function. So these approaches are complementary and never entirely separable. So when you study a structure, we want to know what does it do. And physiology now bring meaning to anatomy, because now what does it do? That is the physiology. So anatomy is what makes the physiology possible. And physiology is what gives the anatomy a meaning, okay? So I want to get it. Anatomy is the study of structure. Physiology is the study of the function of that structure, okay? So entirely when we talk about the anatomy and physiology, just we are going to this is like understanding a form and function, okay? So that is that. So we are going to check on many examples throughout the progress of these sessions. So that is that. So anatomy is just the study of form, okay? Simplest way to study human anatomy is observation of surface structures, For example, performing physical examination, marking clinical diagnosis from surface appearance, but a deeper understanding of the body depends on dissection, the careful cutting, separation of tissues to reveal their relationship. So both anatomy and dissection literally mean cutting apart, okay? To anatomize. That is where actually the name anatomy came from. Dissecting used to be called anatomizing. Okay. So the dissection of a dead human body, or what we call the cadaver, is an essential part of the training many health science students. People have the cadaver themselves. Some people they have the dolls. Okay. So many insights into human structure are obtained from comparative anatomy. That is, we study of more than one species in order to learn generalization and evolutionary trend. So we can compare chimpanzee with the human being, can check on a lizard and a crocodile or monitor, so the reptile, and then we classify them. So as a student of anatomy, you need to start dissecting other animals, of course, with which we share common ancestry and many structural similarity, and through that you get it. So dissection, of course, is not the method of choice when studying a living person, because when you're doing physical examination, you don't need to dissect. Now, it involves not only looking at the body for signs of normalcy when you're doing physical examination, yeah, but you need to touch, you need to listen to it. So that is what we call the marking, or what are the techniques of diagnosis or techniques of physical examination. And you get them. We have palpation, we have auscultation, we have percussion, okay, and we have inspection. So some people give it acronym IPPA: inspection, palpation, percussion, then auscultation, okay. So we talk about inspection, general grossly viewing and observing, then you get to know what is the disease problem, or what is the actually pathological manifestation of this condition. When we talk about the palpation, you need to feel the structure with the fingertips, such as you need to palpate a swollen lymph node or taking a pulse, okay. Then when we talk about auscultation, listening to the natural sounds made by the body, such as heart lung sound, and then you get to know heart sound. We have normal heart sound and abnormal heart sound. Okay, we talk about lungs. We have sounds which will give us definition of a normalcy, and we have sounds which will give us pathology. Okay, so we get to know if we have asthmatic patient, what are the sounds? Are we targeting on the rhonchi or the crepitations or the wheezing or the stridors? Okay, so in percussion, the examiner taps on the body and listens to the sound for signs of anomalies, such as a pocket of fluid or air. So that tapping is what we call the percussion. So when you handle with the percussion, you get to know which organs will give you dull sound, which organs will give you tympanic, which one will give you resonance, okay, or tympanic resonance, okay. So those sound will give you to know if a liver is supposed to give you dull and then it is resonance, then you get to know, okay, when the lungs are giving you tympanic and it was supposed to give a given thing, you get to know this is a pathological manifestation of this kind of disease. So with those techniques, you get to examine physically, okay. So structure that can be seen with the naked eye, whether by surface or observation or dissection, is always called gross anatomy. So like can classify. We have microscopic anatomy, the one that you cannot access. You have to send for lab request when you're doing stool examination, maybe investigation for over and cyst in stool, what you call stool for hover. Okay, you do microscopy to analyze because they are microscopic organism which might be there, but these are not gross. So when you're gross, we can just generalize spot. When I talk about the bossy skull, okay, I know that is one of the presentation of sickle cell in children. So I am grossly viewing the skull or the cranium, and then I realize there's some bossiness. Okay, so that is that. So that is that. So when you talk about this, we can talk about gross anatomy, or we can talk about microscopic anatomy. So gross, we can see the microscopy. You just need to use a microscope. Okay. So it has things to do with histopathology, just the microscopic examination of tissue for signs of diseases, okay, and ultrastructure, which refers to fine detail down to molecular level, which are revealed by the electron microscope. So physiology uses method of experimental science discussed, and we are going to check them. So it has many subdisciplines, of course, physiology. So we can talk about neurophysiology. When talk about neurophysiology, that is physiology of the nervous system. Endocrinology, that is physiology of hormones. Okay. Pathophysiology, mechanism of disease. Okay. Partly because of limitation and experimentation with humans, much of what we know about bodily function has been gained through comparative physiology. So the study of how different species have solved problems of life such as water balance, respiration, reproduction. So comparative physiology is also the basis of the development of new drugs today and medical procedures. Now, for example, a cardiac surgeon cannot practice on human without first succeeding in animal surgery, and a vaccine cannot be used on human subjects until it has been demonstrated through animal research that it confers significant benefit without unacceptable risk. So that is that. So all that one is very key for introduction. And now you can watch this on our YouTube or simply follow our audios on our channel. Okay, nice.